Hi everyone, welcome. Our class today is going to harness our core strength and put it to the test in a lot of different fun scenarios. Um, and let's just start by awakening our awareness. The greatest support of all is our own awareness. So if you're not already on your belly, take a moment to turn to your left, extend your legs, roll onto the belly, and do a little test. Make sure your right arm is reaching towards me, and it'll make the class just a little easier to follow. And then stack the hands, elbows wide, forehead to hands. Allow yourself to settle and soften. And as you observe your natural breath flowing in and out, unobstructed, start to feel your entire torso. And the sides, the back body, and the chest. And just start to be aware of the three-dimensional expansion of the lungs. Notice just that gentle stretch in every direction as we inhale. And Amy, I'm sitting up, but you can make your way to lying on your belly with your right arm facing the screen. And just continue to observe the gentle expansion of the torso and then just the gentle softening of the torso. And just imagine the same experience of the lungs filling happening to the entire body cavity. So there's just this sense of a larger part of your being filling and expanding in every direction, and then subtly softening. As you focus on your breath and become more aware of sensation in the body, give yourself permission to wiggle. Give yourself permission to separate the feet or allow the neck to soften. As you wake up sensation just by being present, allow your body to adapt. Give yourself that freedom as you still breathe and observe the breath. And if you have not already hit play on your music, you are welcome to do so now. And then we'll bring some more sensation into the body. So extend the left arm, slide the right hand underneath the right shoulder, and just gently press into the right hand to roll onto the left side. And you should be facing me if all went well. We'll start with some side body rolling, and if you've done this before, you can take yourself for your own journey. Otherwise, I'll just gently cue you. These movements can be really small, really subtle, just a gentle rocking forward and back. And then start to walk your awareness through the side body, starting at the left foot. And just feel the sensations as the top of the foot, side of the foot, the heel, all massage. Hello, person on Alice's yoga mat. Welcome. Glad to be here with you. And walk your awareness up to the left calf. Just gently massaging from the outside and then witnessing from the inside. Walk the awareness up to the thigh and the hip. You can always change the amount of rolling depending on where you are. So feel free to roll a little bit more onto the back of the hip. Jessie has a fun modification. Her top knee is bent and her foot's behind her. Feel free to try that. And walk your awareness up to the side body and the rib cage. We're going to be working with the core a lot, and it will really help to be aware of this area. So spend some extra time here. Play with letting the roll get a little bigger so you can roll onto the front of the rib cage, the back of the rib cage. And then eventually let that roll get so tiny that you need an incredible amount of focus to feel the nuance of your movement, the fine tuning. Bring your awareness up to your shoulder. Make any adjustments with the arm if you notice that you want that. And just massage through the back of the shoulder while witnessing the sensations from the inside. And then slowly make your way all the way up to the left hand, and you can actually move the hand a little bit if you'd like to feel the pinky side, the back side, the thumb side. And then just witness the whole left side of the body. Those gentle movements. And then come all the way onto the belly. Once again, stack the hands, forehead to hands, and just take a moment to observe the difference between left and right. And it's okay if you don't notice anything, but just give yourself the opportunity to feel and bear witness to your experience. And now we'll even it out on the second side. So right arm extends, left hand under shoulder, push into the left hand to gently roll onto the right side. And as you're facing away from the screen, just have a sense of this being just for you. Just your time to connect with your body. And allow it to function a little smoother. Allow it to support you better. Start to trace that path from the foot all the way up, and just remember to take a little extra time at the rib cage and the area of the core cylinder. And start to make your way towards the upper portion of the body if you haven't already. And without rushing, whenever you make it to the hand and you feel complete, I will know you're done when you're back on your belly. But you don't have to rush to get there. Enjoy the experience. And I love that no one's on their belly just yet. You're honoring yourself. And Dana's on her belly, but she's still rolling, so that's cool too. You can also enjoy stillness for a moment. When you do make it back to the belly, again, just observe your body. Observe it as a whole. We're going to be spiraling through space in really fun shapes, and it will help to feel your body as a whole. And so let that experience just sink in for a moment. And now, no more side body rolling, but we will return to the first side to start our sequence. So right hand underneath the shoulder, gently press into it to roll onto the left side. Bend both knees. Keep the feet in line with the hips, and then just allow the knees to be at a 90-degree angle, more or less. Keep the feet together and slowly start to lift the top knee, kind of like Baddha Konasana. And then keep the thigh bone where it is, but rotate it in so that your little like fin starts to kick up, kind of like a mermaid tail. Slowly kick out through the heel, extending the top leg, and then control its descent back down, slowly releasing, and then bending the knee so you're back at the beginning. And we'll do that again. So lift the knee slowly, externally rotating thigh bone. Keep the knee where it is, but internally rotate the thigh bone, allowing the foot to lift. Slow extend, kicking through the heel so the back of the leg really extends, and then set it down. Bend the knee. And with this last one, see if you can smooth out the motion so it just starts to become one continuous flow instead of a bunch of awkward physical therapy movements. And when the legs come back together, reach the right arm forward and start to slowly draw a big rainbow over the body so the fingers point up and then over to the wall behind you. Take a moment in the twist and then slowly let the knees point up. Reach the right knee over the left, crossing the legs, and then start to draw some big circles with the knees, with the right leg on top, kind of like eagle legs, but really chill. We're not doing the double cross just yet. And as you do this, become aware of your core. And sometimes as the hips roll around, there can be like a huge arch in the low back. See if you can stabilize enough with the core that mostly the legs move. And there's a little less movement in the torso. Go the opposite direction. Notice the relationship of the thigh bones and the hip sockets. And really reach out through the arms to just help stabilize the torso and allow the core to do its job. Bring the knees to center. Give yourself a big hug with the left arm on top. And slowly start to curl up towards the knees. And just notice the front of the body turning on. And then set your head back down. And do a few of these. And I don't even want to call them crunches because I want you to have a sense of the whole body lifting, and not just the rectus abdominis engaging, but rather this whole cylinder of your torso being supported. The next time you lift up, uncross the legs, bend the knees, and set the soles of the feet down. Slowly release the head, but keep a sense of that core cylinder being engaged. And then walk the feet just ahead of the knees and gently start to lift the hips, letting the front of the body lengthen, though it's still engaged. And then set the hips down. Extend the arms and the left leg only and stretch big. And then push into the sole of the right foot to slowly roll all the way onto the belly. Let the right foot stay lifted, just for fun. And then drag the hands back in line with the shoulders and pull on the mat to lengthen the spine. Gaze over the left shoulder at your cute little foot. And then release the right foot down, tucking the toes underneath, and we'll switch. So bend the left knee and gaze over your right shoulder. And then do the same thing. Release the leg, tucking the toes, gaze forward, slide hands back, and push into the hands to slowly shift your hips back to your heels, keeping the toes tucked. Pause for a moment, connecting forehead to earth. And then push down into the feet and the knees. Drag the hips forward and allow the spine to slowly stack. Reach the hands gently back and up overhead. And just pause for a moment at kneeling. If the legs are sensitive, you can fold the back of your yoga mat forward so that you've got extra cushion here. And now give yourself another hug. This time, right hand on top. And imagine those crunches you just did on your back. How much effort that took to lift the body. Imagine it takes that much effort to release forward. So it takes a lot of imagination because this is quite easier. But feel the body supporting you. Allow the hips to reach towards the heels slightly. And then push down into the knees, keeping the support in the core as you slowly stretch the ends of your core apart, lengthening the heart upward. And then allow the hips to sink towards the heels, but keep them hovering. Do another one of those crunches. And then keep everything engaged as you stretch the knees and the heart apart, lengthening an eccentric contraction. Take a couple more of these pretend crunches to allow your body to support itself as holistically as possible. And the next time you come upright, allow the backs of the hands to touch. And let's just stick to that for this first round. Slowly start to circle the elbows and take your body with you. So I'm going to turn so you can see me. And then imagine exploring your torso through this movement. So notice the muscles on the back, the sides, the front, and make sure you feel supported at every moment. And go the opposite direction. And we'll be repeating this movement a lot, so allow it to be small at first until you awaken as much support as possible, and then it can get big. Jesse, you don't have to be shy. You were going big, and that's okay. It was beautiful, as long as you feel supported. And then bring your body to neutral. Shift the weight into the right knee. Step the left foot forward into a lunge. And then slowly start to hinge forward. And then push down into the feet, just like in your crunch, let the front of the body start to expand and open. And if it's comfortable, you can lift the elbows a little bit at the top. And then release forward gently, pressing the arms together, garnering some extra strength in the shoulders and the top of the core. And then let everything open. Nice, Roseanne. Great job, everyone, moving so slowly with control. The next time you rise up, let the arms split and open to a huge funnel. Just imagine your heart opening that much and taking in all that extra energy. Lift the right arm a little bit extra so that you can lengthen the right side body. Option to reach the left hand towards the right thigh, but only if that's comfortable. And then windmill the arms over to the right, plant the right hand, hover the right knee, and pivot the left foot so all 10 toes turn towards the long edge of the mat. Bend the knees really deeply. Let the left hand release. Let everything release down. And then push into the feet. Allow the pelvis to get buoyant and circle the arms to the right and then up and to the left. And slow down your movements as you make these big circles and allow the knees to bend to support you. So as you reach to the left, let the left knee bend a little. And then through center, let both knees bend. As you reach to the right, let the left leg extend. And if that's too much, just focus on the upper body and allow the legs to be natural. Then next time the arms sweep down and to the right, turn the right toes out 90 degrees and let the left heel drop out just a little bit. And then reach the right arm to the horizon and allow the left arm to rainbow over the body, pausing in Virabhadrasana 2. If you liked Jnana Mudra from last week, you're welcome to use that again. And then just reach 1 inch forward and 1 inch back and take those really subtle shifts. Bring your awareness to your whole core cylinder and just notice it reaching to the right and reaching to the left. So it's not a side body experience, right? It's a full body experience. Notice both of your sides. And the next time you reach forward, press into the ball of the left foot, square the hips towards the other end of the mat, release the hands down inside of the right foot, and step back to plank. Drop your knees, walk your hands in so you're in table, and then just hover opposite hand and knee and switch. And so just imagine you're like playing with a kid and you're on the ground and you're crawling around. Opposite hand to knee, and we'll get to play with this movement in, actually let's just take it up right now because it's so fun. So bring everything down and now tuck toes under, hover the knees and do the same thing, and it's going to be a lot harder. So move nice and slow, lifting opposite hand and foot now, and imagine the lifting coming from the core. So it's just like as the hips lift, the limbs lift, no problem. They follow each other. And then bring everything down. Let the knees come down. Reach the right leg back. Start to sweep it across the body. And as it crosses over the edge of the mat, let the left foot start to swivel too so there's no tension in the knee. Bring the left hip down. And then the right hip down. Roll over the hips, twisting to the right, Bharadvajasana. This should be familiar from last week. If you weren't here last week, be patient and kind and compassionate as you figure this one out. You'll get it, I promise. Now let's go back the way we came. So arms reach up, roll over the hips, letting the knees come to center, and then left, and then plant the hands, and when we do it in slow motion, you roll through table, but next time, the knees can stay hovered and the right foot just kind of hops over. And so let's try that one again. From table, this time knees can be up or down. It's up to you. Right leg reaches back, sweeps around. Lift the right hand, drop the hips, and roll over to the right. Nice. Yeah, that went a lot smoother that time. And Rod, let your knees swivel the other way. So you're here. Let them go up and over. Yeah, you got it. And then twist to the right. Yes. Okay. Let's do that one more time. So go back the way you came. Keep the knees up or let them drop. Right leg crosses behind you. Roll over the hips. They can stay up or down. Right arm lifts. Roll to the right. Yes, nice, Jesse. As long as you're smiling, you're doing it right. On this last one, lift the left arm like you're reaching for something really high up over to the right, and just notice the long line from the left fingertips all the way down into the left armpit, the left side body, even into the left hip. And as you notice it, just allow anything to go a little deeper or not. And then we'll go back the way we came. And here's a secret, actually. If you bring your left foot back onto the mat, when you roll over, it'll just be kind of convenient to have that grippy anchor point. And so we'll all meet in table. Hover the knees, and then just allow the left toes to point out to the left and bring the left heel down. Yeah. Drop the right knee and lift the left hand. And now let's try that again. So left hand down, let the knees drop below you into a hovering table. And then swivel the left foot, bring the right knee down, left hand up. And yeah, awesome. So take a few explorations of that on your own, paying attention to the swiveling of the left foot. And eventually, the right knee might start to hover. But at first, while your body's figuring out that swiveling, it's totally fine to leave the right knee down. And the next time you swivel off to the side, just pause for a moment. Slowly bring the right hip down. Press a lot into the left foot and the right hand. And then extend the right leg through. Twist to the left. Untwist to the right. Hug the legs together. I know this is a complicated one, but once everything comes together, it's going to be so worth it. Okay, so hang in there. So plant the hands underneath you, just like a plank pose. Tuck the toes behind you, and as you push down into the hands, allow the hips to hover, allow the knees to swivel underneath you, and then go back to the right hip. And just do a couple of these twisted swivels. Start by pushing into the hand, let the knees drop, and notice what awakens in the core when you do this. Try to feel both side bodies working together, not just the bottom side. The next time the knees are underneath you, step back to plank, drop the knees, press the hips to the heels, and let all of the thoughts melt out of your brain. And let that information just settle in the body. And if this position doesn't feel restful and harmonious, it's okay to sit on the heels and come up and just be a little higher, or to be in a tabletop. Try to find something that feels like you can actually rest for a moment. And if you've risen up, place the hips down, stretch the hands in front of you, and push down into the shins, slowly rolling the spine forward. When the shoulders make it over the wrists, pull on the mat, just lengthening and opening slightly through the front of the body, glorified cow. And then slowly bend the elbows and let the hips and heart melt towards the earth. So you just gently release onto the belly. Stack hands, elbows wide, forehead to hands. And rest again, just letting all of that sink in. We'll repeat that on the second side. So extend the right arm, left hand underneath the shoulder, push into the left hand to slowly roll onto the right side of the body, bend the knees, keep the feet in line with the hips. Feet together, lift the top knee, keep the thigh where it is, and slowly start to lift the foot. Extend the leg and slowly lower it back down, and then bend the knee so the legs stack. And once you figure it out, you can ignore me and move as smoothly as possible. Otherwise it's external rotation, internal rotation, extend and lower is our song. Last one. And then reach the right arm underneath you, and then plant the left hand on top and slowly rainbow the left arm up and over, bringing the left shoulder down. Let the knees hover so there's no tension. And now cross the left leg over the right. Anchor the shoulders, reach out through the arms, and start to draw your big circles with your knees. And as the knees reach away from the body, notice the stability that is required through the core. Notice anything turning on to support you. Again, these movements can be really small at first to awaken the support. And then once you feel supported, you can start to extend beyond that range. Go the opposite direction. And then when you're back at center, give yourself a big hug with the right arm on top and slowly start to lift the heart towards the knees, engaging holistically through the upper body. Release back down and take a few of these, trying to feel the back of the body, the side of the body, and the front of the body all working together. The next time you lift, uncross the legs, bend the knees, placing the soles of the feet down, and slowly release the torso, keeping awareness on the core. Press into the feet to gently start to lift the hips, lengthening the front of the body. And then release the hips back down. Extend the arms overhead, extend the right leg and stretch long. And then push into the sole of the left foot, slowly rolling over the side body, back onto the belly. Keep the left knee bent. Bend both elbows, drag the hands back, gaze over the right shoulder, and then tuck the left toes under, extend the leg, and switch. So right knee bends, gaze over the left shoulder, and then tuck the toes under, gaze center, slide the hands a little further back, push into the hands to lengthen through the back of the body. And then slowly drag the hands back and press the hips forward, allowing the spine to stack. Allow the arms to draw a big circle behind you. And then give yourself a hug with the left arm on top. And imagine those crunches, and we're going to do them in a different dimension now. Slowly start to curl the body down. And then push into the legs, keeping the core tight, but lengthening the ends apart. And just try to feel that tautness. You can even feel yourself for a second. Like, is it actually on? Is it actually tight? That can help. And curl everything forward. Not over-engaging, letting things naturally turn on. Just being aware. And the next time you rise up, you can bring the backs of the hands together and slowly start to draw your circles with the elbows, letting the elbows orient your torso. Right, so as the elbows circle, everything changes directions. If you feel unstable, allow the knees to come a little bit wider. So you've got a bigger base of support with which to explore. Nice, everybody, and go the opposite direction. And then come up through center, shift the weight into the left knee, step the right foot forward and slightly to the right. Keep the arms where they are, but start to melt down, folding forward. Imagine the arms and the torso like a tight rope. Strands interwoven to support you. As you rise up, allow the elbows to lift a little bit. And then just take a few gentle pulsations, letting the rope pull forward and then letting it extend as you reach up. The next time you reach up, let the arms unfurl to a big Y. Let the whole body and heart open. And then reach the left arm up and over to the right. Right hand can drop and reach towards the right thigh just slightly, thinking more up than over. And then windmill the arms up and over to the left. Plant the left hand, lift the left knee, and pivot the toes to face the left. Bring the right hand down, bend the knees, let everything melt forward, Prasarita Padottanasana. And then push into the feet. As you push into the feet, be aware of the legs and the pelvis. Let everything become buoyant. Circle the arms to the right and then up. Oh, I said right, but I meant left. Sorry. Circle the arms to the left, up, and then over to the right. It actually matters. And as you reach the arms, just have a sense of the feet and the hands reaching apart. Be aware of your torso lengthening, supporting you from the front and the back and the sides. The next time the arms sweep over to the left, turn the left toes out to the short edge of the mat. Let the right heel drop out and then reach towards the horizon and allow the right arm to reach up and over to Virabhadrasana 2. Option for the Jnana Mudra fingers. Bend the left knee and just gently reach forward and back. Allow the shoulders to soften. You can even bend the elbows a little bit if that just helps you. And the next time you reach towards the left, push into the ball of the right foot, pivoting everything to face the short edge of the mat. Release the hands down. Release the, actually step back to plank and then release the knees. And then opposite hand and knee, take one round with the knees down. And then hover the knees and take a few rounds lifting opposite hand and foot. And imagine that as the hips reach up, they pull the hand and foot up. And all of the work comes from your center. And then place hands and feet down. Slowly release the knees for the first round. Lift the left foot. Let it start to circle behind you. And let the right knee start to pivot. So there's no tension in the knee. Right hip comes down, left foot comes down. Allow the knees to come to center all the way over to the other side and twist to the left. Go back the way you came. So reach the arms up, knees up, over to the right. Plant the hands and then pivot over the knees back to table. This time, if that went well and that went better. You guys made it. Hover the knees. Let's try it again. If you feel comfortable with the knees up, hover the left foot. Let the left foot cross over, left hand up. Keep the bum up. And then lower the hips at the end. Let the knees come over and twist over to the left. If that was too much, just keep the hips down. Reach arms up and over. Walk the right foot onto the mat. And then allow the hips to lift as the left foot and left hand hop over. Yeah, you guys got it. So one last time on your own. We'll all meet in the twist and then reach the right arm up from that twist. And just notice the right side of the body. You don't have to overdo it, but allow yourself to Wind up a little bit. And then slowly start to unwind, letting the arms sweep over to the right, lifting the knees, plant the right hand, walk the right foot over, right? So it's on the mat. Push down into right hand and foot, drop the right knee, let the left foot hop over, and then swivel the right foot to point at the short edge of the mat. Yeah, Christy's got it. Reach the right arm up. Option to drop the left knee so that there's no tension there. And then release the right hand down, release the knees down, and take that a couple of times. The most important thing that I want you guys to notice here is that right foot swiveling out 90 degrees so the foot can plant. And then the bottom leg can release down, or if you feel supported, you can keep that knee hovering. You'll notice that takes a little extra work in the bottom side of the body. And the next time you swivel, allow the left leg to extend forward and then set the hip down. Whew. Twist gently over to the right, lengthening the spine as you twist. And then twist back the other way, planting the hands. Hug the knees together. Think plank with the upper body. Push into the hands, hover the knees, and let them swivel underneath you. And then unswivel them. And just take a couple of these twisted planks, really bringing awareness to the side bodies. This is going to help us later. I won't ruin the surprise. And the next time the knees come underneath you, walk the feet back, drop the knees, press hips back to heels, or find your most comfortable resting pose. So that could be kneeling, that could be tabletop, or even a gentle cat. But allow yourself to rest for a moment. And then let's all meet in devotional pose. For a waving vinyasa, so push down into the legs, let the spine start to round into the air, rolling forward, hips, when shoulders come over, wrists, peel the heart through, thinking more of a cow and less of an up dog, just letting the spine be really supported, and then slowly bend the elbows, let the hips and heart release, stack hands, elbows wide, pause. And just observe the breath. If you're following along with our musical adventure, now is a great time to go to the next track. The next track is called Stargazer. So we'll go a little quicker through some of those things and then add on more adventure. Extend the left arm, right hand underneath the shoulder. Press into the right hand to roll onto the left side. Bend the knees, heels in line with the hips. Lift the knee. Keep the knee where it is. Lift the foot. Extend the leg. We're going to change it up here. This time, start to lower the foot towards your computer screen, engaging more through the outside of the hip. If that's too much, you can lower it the way we did before. And then bend the knee so it goes back to the beginning. And just take 2 more of those. Lift the knee, lift the foot, extend the leg, and then slowly release the thighs together and bend the knee. Last one. Reach the left hand forward, right hand on top, big arc over you, bringing the right shoulder down. Let the knees hover so there's no tension. And then cross right leg over left. Option to undertuck the right toes, only if that doesn't stress your hip bones. And draw some nice circles here. Go in both directions and use this as an opportunity to become more intimately attuned to your core cylinder. Bring the knees to center, Give yourself a hug with the left arm on top. Curl up just one time, but stay up. Uncross the legs. Bring the soles of the feet down, and then slowly release your torso as you push into the feet and lift the hips into bridge pose. And then one vertebra at a time, release the spine down. Extend the left leg, arms overhead, big stretch. Press into the right foot to slowly roll over the left side of the body back to the belly, but keep the right foot up. Drag the hands back, gaze over the left shoulder, and then tuck the right toes under and switch. So bend left knee, gaze over the right shoulder. Tuck left toes under, drag hands back a few inches, and then push into the hands to slowly reach the hips back. Push down into the shins, driving the hips gently forward, stacking spine. Big circle with the arms behind you. And then hug with the right arm on top. Allow the hips to sink back as you release forward. Just one of these. Be aware of your core cylinders. You start to stretch the head and knees apart. Let the heart lift. And then bring the backs of the hands together or the front of the hands. Allow the knees to go just a little bit wider and take a few big circles or whatever size circles. And this time, if it feels available to the shoulders, it is okay to allow the arms to move a little bit more as long as there's no strain. So if it's comfortable, the hands can reach and lift. Otherwise, just keep them more anchored into the body. Shift the weight into the right knee, left foot forward. Just one of these, bow forward. And then push down to rise up. Let the arms open into a big funnel. Reach up and over to the left. And then up and over to the right. Plant the right hand. Lift the right knee. Pivot the feet. I want to call this like quarterback stance. Is that right? And then release both hands down. Bend the knees. Melt forward. And then push into the feet. Big circle to the right, and then up and over to the left. The next time you sweep to the right, right toes turn out, left heel turns out just a little bit. We'll meet in Virabhadrasana 2. You can take those 1-inch reaches, or you can pause at stillness, because stillness is a rare commodity. We can enjoy that too. And we'll add on to this sequence, and it'll be pretty close to what we did last week. Start to reach over the right leg, come onto the ball of the left foot, and feel the strength of the right leg underneath you. Start to shift the weight into the right foot, dragging the left foot across and up into dancing Shiva. Let both knees and elbows bend, and just softly pulse here, letting everything bend a lot and then extend a little. So there's just a sense of buoyancy as you twist slightly to the left. And then extend both legs. Place the left foot down in front of you. Keep the legs straight and just reach up and slightly over to the right. If you want to bend the front knee, you can, but you don't have to. It might feel more supported with both legs straight. And then reach up. Bend the right knee a little bit, bounce just to make sure that thigh is on, and then lift the left foot. Split your arms to T to help with balance. We've got our grease lightning leg sweeping across. Bend the right knee just a little bit as the hips open, and then plant the foot back into Virabhadrasana 2. Turn all 10 toes towards me and start to bend into the left knee, and then bend into the right knee. If the hands are tired, you can place the hands on the hips, but I feel like really cool when my arms are out here, like I'm like flying, or I don't know. So if you feel cool, you should do it too. And as you shift the weight from side to side, try to have a sense of the back of the hips, the sides of the hips. You can bring a little more weight into the heels if you feel like this is all about a forward fold, and try to experience it more in the legs and the pelvis. The next time you shift the weight over to the right, press into the ball of the left foot, turn all of the toes over to the right, release the hands down inside of the front foot. Are you guys ready for the next evolution of our crazy twisting? It's going to be awesome. Step the right foot back, bend the knees, and walk the feet in just a little bit so you're in like a short table with the knees hovering, and just lift opposite hand and foot. If you want to travel a little bit, you can, but you don't have to, because if you travel, you have to make your way back to where you started. And just start to play with that buoyancy of the pelvis. And then place hands and feet down. Allow the right foot to start to cross behind you. Keep the hips lifted if you're comfortable this time. And pivot to your table, reverse table, and then lower the hips. Let the knees drop to the side. Right hand plants behind you. And this time just stretch long through the left side of the body. We'll go right into that the first time. So slowly start to untwist. Plant the left hand. Make sure the left foot's on the mat. It'll help you. And then lift the hips and bring the right hand down as the right foot crosses over. This time we can go right into the pivot with the left foot. Lift the right arm. Option to stay right where you are, or try kicking the right leg through. Make sure that's okay with the bottom of the body. Bring the right foot back to where it came from. Release down into your hovering table and give yourself a moment of respite by lifting the hips and walking the hands forward for a moment in down dog before we try it again. Remember, you can always keep the knees down if that feels like too much, but I want you guys to have options so you can play. Drop the knees down, walk the hands underneath the shoulders so you're in table. You want to be shorter than a down dog. And then option to hover the knees. Right foot starts to glide behind you. Right hand lifts. Roll over the hips up or down. And then release the hips, knees twist to the right, and hands travel over. Reach that left arm up. And then start to untwist. Knees up, hands plant, right foot hops. Option to pivot the right foot. And now just kick the right leg all the way through. Yeah, nice. And then go back into the hovering table, drop the knees, press the hips down to the heels for a moment. And just assess if you were like, wow, my body loved that, I want to do it again. You'll have the option, but I want you to check in because there's some challenging moments and I don't want any tweaks happening. Okay, so last round, or stay here. Hover back up to table. Lift the knees. Right foot glides behind you. Right hand lifts. Roll over the feet. Knees to the right, hands to the right. Reach long through the left side. And then untwist all the way. Plant the right hand over. And then pivot the left toes. Let the right foot shine through. Left hand lifts. And then lower the hip down. Yes! Nice. Twist to the left, lengthening the spine. You don't have to do it again just yet. And then hug the legs together. Plant the hands underneath you. Tuck the toes and just let the knees drop underneath you. Press the hips back to the heels. You can take a waving vinyasa the way we did it in the last round, or you can make it a little bigger, and I'll tell you how. So if you'd like to go bigger, hover the knees, press the hips up and back, and extend the legs for a moment, and then push into the feet, carving out the front of the body, rounding forward. Once hips make it in line with your heels, drop the knees, and slowly pull on the mat to open the front of the body. And then just release everything down, hand stack, elbows wide, forehead to hands. And just rest. Notice any sensations traveling through the body. Those twisting movements um, store a lot of energy in the fascia, and so sometimes you feel a little tingly or excited. And just observe the breath. Let the body soften. And trust that even if your mind can't comprehend the sequence, that your body's starting to learn the smoothest pathway. And we'll repeat that on the second side now. Extend the right arm, place the left hand underneath the shoulder, and slowly press into the left hand, rolling onto the right side. Bend the knees, hips and heels in one line. Slowly lift the top knee, and then lift the top foot. Extend the leg, and then option to slowly release the thighs in line, and then bend the knee. Can also do it the way we did in the first round. Lift a knee, and then internally rotate the thigh to lift the foot, extend the leg, and then slowly hollow the body out as the leg lowers. Last one on your own. Try to smooth out the movement. Reach the right arm forward, left hand on top, big arc. The left arm reaching up and over. Pin the left shoulder down. Let the hips and knees follow. And then cross left leg over right. Option to undertuck the left toes. And start to draw big circles with your knees. And just notice how the knees redirect the thigh bones. You can allow yourself to roll onto the outer hip if that's comfortable. Just make sure to keep the shoulders anchored so there is sense of stability as you explore here. Go the opposite direction. And then give yourself a big hug. Right arm on top, curl up towards the knees. And then stay lifted, uncross the legs, bend the knees, soles of the feet down, and slowly recline. Press into the backs and of the shoulders and the soles of the feet to lift. And then one vertebra at a time, set everything down. Reach arms over head, extend the right leg, stretch, and then slowly push into the left foot, rolling over the right side all the way onto the belly. Keep the left knee bent, and then drag the arms back, gaze over right shoulder. You can hover the arms, and then tuck left toes under, bend the right knee, go the other way. Tuck right toes under, drag the hands back, push into them to slowly lengthen the back, hips towards the heels. Push down into the knees. Allow the hips to press forward as the hands circle back and up. Give yourself a big hug with the left arm on top, and allow the hips to reach back as you curl forward, and then push down, letting everything lengthen. Backs of hands together or fronts of hands. Option to separate the knees a little bit more so you have a solid foundation. And then start to curl forward, turning on the front of the core. And then as you circle the arms to one side, feel that side support you. Feel the back support you. And then feel the other side support you. And just explore the support of your core, wrapping all the way around the spine, the whole space from the shoulders to the hips, including the shoulders and the hips. And beyond. I think your whole body is part of your core. Go the opposite direction. And then the next time you're at center, Shift the weight into the left knee. Step your right foot generously forward and just bow forward. And then push down into the legs, letting the front of the body unfurl. Let the elbows lift a little bit, opening. And then big funnel with the arms. Feel the expansion. Reach up and over to the right. And then up and over to the left. Plant the left hand, lift the left knee, pivot the feet to the left. Bend the knees, release the body down. Prasarita Padottanasana. And then start to sweep the arms over to the left and then up and over to the right. Bend the right knee a little bit. Bend both knees through center. Try to feel the whole body participating in supporting you, allowing you to lengthen, allowing the pelvis to be buoyant, the spine to be supple. And move slow enough that you feel control, that this isn't random. It's all supported. The next time you sweep down into the left, let the toes turn into heel to arch alignment. Allow the right arm to float all the way up and over to Virabhadrasana 2. And allow yourself to be held and steady, or just take those gentle snakes from side to side, whatever is most inviting. Shift the weight into the left foot. Drag the right foot over and up into dancing Shiva. Press into the ball of the left foot to help you stabilize. And then soften knees and elbows just a little bit. Deflate and then puff up. And just take a couple of these bounces. And then extend the right leg. Place the sole of the right foot down and reach up. Hug inner thighs together. Let your body lengthen. And then gently reach up and over to the right. Option to bend the right knee or keep the legs straight. Whichever one feels more supportive on the low back. And then shift the weight back into the left foot. Lower the arms to T for stability and point the right toes forward and slowly sweep them across the horizon all the way back to where you came from. Virabhadrasana 2, great stability. Nice. We'll meet in Virabhadrasana 2. Great, Roseanne. And then turn all 10 toes towards the side. Bend into the right knee and bring your awareness to the back of the right hip. And then shift into the left foot. And try to stay high here so that the hips really have to work to support you. Allow the movement to come from the pressure in the feet. Hands can come to hips at any time that the arms need a little break, or hands can come to shoulders. Oh, that's cute. It's like a little baby bird trying to fly. Everyone should do that because it's so cute. And the next time you bend towards the left, turn all 10 toes to the left, release the hands inside the foot, step back to plank, and then drop the knees, walk the hands in underneath the shoulders. And I feel like I'm just going to demo this one time before you have to do it. So you can just visualize yourself perfectly flying through space in this way. The knees hover. The back leg lifts and flips over, takes the hand with it. You twist. And then as you untwist, you go back the way you came, except you let the right foot pivot so you can kick the leg through. And then you go back to the beginning. So the knees can always stay down, and you can always move a lot slower and not momentum based. That's totally fine. If you'd like to hover the knees, go for it. Lift the left foot, cross it over, lift the left hand, hips down, knees rock over to the other side, winding up, reach up. And then when you're ready to unwind, knees lift, plant the right foot, plant the right hand behind you, and then lift the left foot into your hovering table, pivot the right foot, kick the left foot through, and pull the right hand back. And then untwist back to the hovering table. Option to take a break. And rest in Bhaktasana, or go for another one. From table, the leg crosses behind you, hand lifts and twist. Yeah, you guys got that part down. Nice. And then let the knees lift, twisting all the way to the other side. Pivot the right foot, let the left foot step through. Nice. Last one, option to rest, or try it one more time. Wow, ninjas. Amazing. And if you kicked the leg through, you can release that hip down. If you're resting, hover the knees, pivot the feet to the right, and step the left foot through so we all meet in the same spot. And then just gently twist to the right, lengthening as you twist. And then untwist, bring the knees together, plant the hands towards the left side of the mat, tuck the toes, and as you push into the hands, allow the knees to drop to center. Step back to plank, bend knees towards the mat. You can press into Bhaktasana, or you can press up into Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then push into the feet to slowly wave the spine forward into a cat plank. Drop the knees, pull on the mat to lengthen the spine. And then slowly set everything down. Stack the hands, elbows wide. Rest for a moment. And slowly drag the hands underneath the shoulders. Press the hips back to the heels. Pause in Bhaktasana. And then push down into the shins to slowly rise up to kneeling. And you can turn to face the screen. So this wasn't planned, but there's this really fun thing I've been playing with, and this class is like the perfect warm-up for it. So just in case you want to try it, there has been this challenge on YouTube where you have to balance a shoe on your foot and you have to roll onto your belly without dropping it, and then you have to actually go back the other way. And it's really hard. So don't feel bad if you can't do it. But your hips are so warm right now that if anybody wants to try it, you can grab a shoe and I can demonstrate, but then it's sort of your homework to play with it on your own, because usually people don't get it on the first try. So here's how my body figured out how to do it, but it's different for everyone. All right, Amy's going for it. Jesse's going for it. So you can either go for it or you can watch all these ninjas drop shoes on their faces. And be patient, be compassionate. Just make sure you're smiling. I see some smiles. And one leg might be easier than the other, so feel free to try both. It is like the perfect challenge of stability and mobility. Christy's almost there. And usually we're really good at one. Oh, wow, Rod. You have to come back to class because it's your first class and you're already doing magic. So I don't want to stop anyone from these shenanigans, but I know not everyone is. If you're ready to be done, you can pause your music. If you're having so much fun, I'm not going to stop you. You should keep doing it. And if you get it, you have to take a video of yourself and you have to send it. Okay. So it might be a little hard to meditate after these fun and games, but we should try it. And then we'll have a moment to cool down. But I thought it'd be nice to meditate while you're energized, and we can work on absorbing that energy. So take a moment to sit comfortably. And close the eyes. And notice the internal landscape of your being. And whatever you're experiencing right now in this moment, there's something beyond it. In yoga, we call it Shiva, Supreme Consciousness. So imagine just letting the thoughts dissolve, even letting the energy or that sort of bubbly feeling from exploring and playing, let that dissolve too. And as you observe the breath, start to connect the mantra Om Namah Shivaya to each inhale and exhale. And this is our compass that helps direct us to supreme consciousness. And so imagine that each wholehearted repetition of the mantra helps take you to that supreme consciousness, that perfect bliss that exists in all moments. Om Namah Shivaya. As you breathe and repeat the mantra, you may notice your heart beating. You may notice tingling in the body from working with your fascia. Thoughts may come and go. As you notice all these things, Allow the mantra to help you feel the space around them and beyond them. And there's nothing wrong with the physical body or the mind or the emotions. It's just not everything. In yoga and meditation, we're trying to connect to the everything, the supreme consciousness. If you feel that wish in your heart to know what that's like, try to repeat the mantra with just a little more love, a little more focus, a little more curiosity. You're welcome to stay upright, continuing to meditate for as long as it feels nourishing. You're also invited to make your way to your back and make some gentle, soothing movements. Feel free to play with those eagle legs just as like a massage. You can take that into a nice supported twist. And just take a moment to ask if the body needs anything. Scan any areas to witness tightness or something that just needs a little release. And then when you're ready, you can find your way to stillness. As you rest here, let the thoughts dissolve. Can even let your physical body dissolve. And just imagine being one with supreme consciousness. Just letting everything else go. And rising and expanding into that Shiva nature. We'll rest like this for the remainder of class. Notice your sense of spaciousness and try to maintain that as you make gentle movements and the body rematerializes. Make any gentle waking movements. And then support your way back up to seated. We'll all meet with hands at heart center. And we'll close our practice in chanting a single Om, and it's okay if you're unmuted. We'll see what happens. That could be kind of cool. So just take a natural breath in and out. And the next time you inhale, prepare to chant Thank you so much for sharing this practice. Namaste. So if anyone can